Bushfires are unfortunately becoming a more frequent part of living in Australia. They often are devastating, but in their aftermath, they can provide opportunities to manage vegetation in the landscape differently. Woody weeds like blackberry, gorse and broom are highly invasive and can quickly create extensive monoculture infestations that become too difficult and too costly to manage. Fuel reduction burns are used to reduce woody weed infestations, and many woody weeds are combustible and will carry the fire well. Likewise, bushfire can significantly reduce woody weed infestations. For anyone who has experienced this, you will know that in most cases, fire only clears the top growth, but does not kill the whole plant, unless the fire is extremely hot. Woody weeds respond to fire in three ways. The first group are the resprouters like blackberry, which grow back from underground crown and roots. The second group are the prolific seeders, like broom, that produce a carpet of new seedlings within the first 12 months after the fire. The third group are the robust, deep-rooted woody weeds like gorse, that respond by resprouting from the base and by prolific seed germination. Control of woody weeds, for the most part, involves the use of herbicides. Most of us want to reduce the amount of herbicide that's entering the environment. But for those who don't want to use any herbicide at all, there are other techniques like grubbing and using a tree popper. But for large infestations, this can be a very laborious process. When using herbicides, always read the label and use the recommended PPE. Woody weeds are either foliar sprayed, cut and swabbed, frilled, or basal barked. Cutting and swabbing, basal barking and frilling use lower amounts of herbicide and target specific parts of the plant. The cut and swab technique involves cutting the stem very close to the ground and immediately painting or swabbing the cut stem with a dilute glyphosate mix. Another option is to buy the ready-made Vigilant 2 gel, and this does not require any mixing prior to use. After fire, it's essential to make sure that the cut stem is green and active. If it's dry, cut lower down the stem until green material is located. Frilling involves making horizontal cuts in woody plants like willows and immediately applying a herbicide to the cut. For example, willows are effectively controlled by creating many frills and treating them with an undiluted glyphosate formulation that is registered for safe use in watercourses. The basal bark technique involves spraying the base of the stem with low pressure with a concentrated mix of herbicide and carrier. Biosafe biodegradable spray oil is now mainly used as the carrier. This technique has drastically improved the efficiency of controlling woody weeds like olives. In our Mediterranean climate, normally the best time to spray woody weed infestations is in late spring to early summer, when the weeds are actively growing and there is no sign of moisture stress. Don't spray plants that are moisture stressed, as they will not take up the required amount of herbicide. Spraying at flowering time is probably the most ideal, as this is when herbicide translocation throughout the whole plant, including the root system, is very high. After a summer bushfire, there is sometimes good rainfall, and this can also open a window of control anywhere from late summer to mid-autumn before conditions cool off, when deciduous woody weeds like blackberry go dormant over winter. Blackberry can grow very quickly in this post-bushfire period and can achieve the desired length of new cane growth to ensure good levels of herbicide uptake. Do not spray before the average cane length is at least 60 centimetres. Better control will most likely be achieved when the average new cane length reaches 1 metre. But a judgment needs to be made as to the ease, access and efficiency of spraying at this more advanced stage compared to spraying at the 60 centimetre cane length. If woody weed seedlings appear shortly after the fire, they too can be foliar sprayed with the lowest recommended label rate, as they will be killed quite easily as long as they are not stressed. It is not normally recommended to spray resprouted gorse until the new shoots are at least knee high. Normally you have to wait until the first spring after the fire for this to occur. unless there is a lot of summer and early autumn rain following the fire to push growth to at least knee high. Spraying resprouted gorse at the knee to thigh high stage, when access to infestations are very much improved, is well worth doing to save you significant time and money. The choice of herbicide is directly influenced by the species of woody weed, but also very much influenced by the location. There are three main location types. The first is pasture paddocks, the second is native grassland or bushland, and the third is in or near a watercourse. At the outset, please be mindful of vineyards and other horticultural crops. Please read herbicide labels thoroughly to ensure you avoid spray drift or temperature inversion layers that can transport airborne herbicide droplets over large distances, especially the ester formulations that can damage sensitive crops. Pasture paddocks give the most herbicide options. Glyphosate, better known as Roundup, damages or kills most plants that it contacts. However, it can be safely used in annual pasture paddocks once the pasture has dried off in summer. It is riskier to use in perennial pasture, as perennial grasses can remain green into early summer and will regrow after summer rain. Metsulfuron methyl, or Metsul for short, commonly sold as brush off, is an inexpensive herbicide. It does kill blackberry and some other woody weeds without the addition of glyphosate, but works slowly, so you need to have some level of patience to use it. Always add an organosilicon surfactant like pulse penetrant when spraying with Metsulf to improve the control. Metsulf also kills legumes like clover, and if sprayed in summer, may reduce the germination of clover in the following autumn as it has some soil activity. Please check labels to ensure you cause no damage. There is also a new herbicide on the market called Stinger that contains Metsulf and another active ingredient that is suitable to use against woody weeds in pasture, especially if you want to control thistles as well. Probably the most robust woody weed herbicide is Grazon Extra. This contains 3 active ingredients and has the advantage of not affecting grasses, but is soil active and can still affect clover germination. Generic Grazon herbicides contain 2 actives and are cheaper, but are probably not as robust as Grazon Extra. Native grasslands and bushlands are much more sensitive, and really the only safe option is Tricloper, commonly sold as Garlon. It is a very effective woody weed herbicide that is mostly used in summer once the annual native broadleafs and lilies have dried off. Tricloper only affects broadleaf plants, not grasses, and has very little soil activity. It can still kill native shrubs if used inappropriately, so please only spot spray in native vegetation. Like bushland, a watercourse is a much more sensitive area, and care needs to be taken when using herbicides. If you are spraying over or near water or in a damp location, only use the frog-friendly Weedmaster Duo or Roundup Bioactive that contain aquatic-friendly surfactants. Spraying on the banks or near a watercourse should also be done with care, as watercourse plants are very sensitive. Please watch out for native plants. Tricloper can be used as long as spray drift does not contact the water or damp areas. Lastly, there are some newer organic herbicides on the market, but so far these products have not been effective against woody weeds with larger root systems. So to finish off, after a bushfire, timing is the key to capitalise on the significant reduction in size of your woody weed infestation. Make sure you spray when the new shoot length is long enough and when plants are not showing any sign of moisture stress. Be sure to plan and act in this first year after the fire before the weeds grow back. Good luck with your efforts, and remember to check your treated area every year for up to 5 years to ensure total control has been achieved. For more resources on weed control, go to our website or YouTube channel.